redo of a presentation that I did, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or so. Except I think this one will have the benefit of visual aids, where before it was just me talking in the room for an hour. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more out of this. So okay, so the first thing I wanted to cover. So I think, you know, everybody probably knows what a blog is, but I don't ever want to assume. So I think, you know, I first want to sort of make the distinction that, you know, I think blogs of back in the day started as sort of like an open Word doc where someone could just type in whatever they wanted to and all of their random thoughts. And it was for the sole purpose of, you know, recording their own diary really online and maybe sharing it with somebody. It wasn't necessarily trying to help anybody or solve any problems. It was, you know, really just, you know, putting thoughts out on the web. And unfortunately, I think the people who were most interested in it were probably trolls who were looking for a place to be evil and wicked. So, you know, I can't say that part has changed about blogs. I think that'll, you know, that's unfortunately just, you know, a part that comes with the World Wide Web. But the type of blogging that I'll be talking about today are the types of blogs that are meant to help people and to, you know, provide information and give you a platform to, you know, attract your perfect people. Another sort of distinction I wanted to talk about is, okay, is a blog a website? Is a website a blog? What is what, right? So so a blog is a website, right? A blog is on the web. It's a place for you to write your entries. A website isn't necessarily a blog, although a website can be a blog, right? A website, a company website, let's say a business, they would have a website where they, you know, sell their features and their benefits and talk about all their services, and that's a static website. Then they might have a section of it that's a blog where they would add articles on a regular basis. So if there is some confusion, like, do I have to go to a certain type of a website to blog? Is there a certain place, like, what's Blogger? Do I need to do though any certain type of a website? You can have a normal, regular website and have it be a blog because you're adding your regular posts. Okay. So who cares, right? Like, what's the point of a blog? Again, the point of a blog is really to, you know, it's a place to develop your online presence. It's a place for you to attract an audience. It's a place for you to engage with your audience. And it's a place for you to establish your authority on your topic. So purpose of a blog: to share, to connect, to create, and to inspire. So today, blogs really are one of the top forms of media that are used in content strategies for individuals, businesses, you know, organizations of all sizes. And, you know, in fact, you know, businesses, and I would say this is true for individuals too that are blogging, you get 55% more website visitors than those who don't. And so one of the primary purposes of a blog, besides sharing information and engaging with the audience, is to increase web traffic. It's a powerful, powerful tool for increasing traffic to your website. And so the key to you know, getting that power behind your blog is not just content. You know, content is king, we know all that, whatever, or queen, right? But it's consistency. Consistency is going to you know, kind of help kind of give you that fire behind your blog that's going to help kind of propel you to the next level by adding new content, relevant content on a consistent basis. And in fact, consistency results in 126% more leads than blogs that do not post consistently. Okay, so now these next several slides, I'm going to go through sort of some of the things you can do to create a blog post that people will actually want to read, right? So I'll start out with the anatomy of a blog post. So it's more than just sort of opening up a Word doc, typing what you're thinking about, hitting publish. There's strategy involved in it. So I'll walk through what all of that is. So here's I don't know if you can see this. It might be a little small. Oh, wait, here we go. That's better, right? Okay. So the anatomy of a perfect blog post. The top is a headline, right? I mean, people want to see what it's about, and they want to be able to read it. So, hook them in with a good headline. Use imagery right away to just kind of add value to the blog and to just break up text. Create an introduction with a hook, some kind of a punchy lead in, then sort of the main copy, conclusion, and then down at the bottom of the blog post, it's often a good practice to put in related posts. You want to keep people on your site and keep them on your site and engaged with your content. So adding links to other relevant posts is a good strategy to do that. You want people to share your content on their social media, so making it really easy for them to do that. And then also asking for comments. So oh, was there a question? Nope, okay. So I'm going to show you my blog, one of my posts, and kind of walk through whether or not I did these things, right? And I can also tell you a little bit about the strategy of why I did certain things that I did. So I have a food blog, and so the title is Mexican Street Corn Pinwheel Appetizers. Now that just sounds like, yeah, that's what it's called. Why, that's just what I named it. Well, no, that's not how I came up with that title. If I could have called it anything I wanted to, I probably would have called it Mexican Street Corn Pinwheels, because that's what they are to me. Well, after doing some keyword research, I found out that it would be easier for me and my website to rank, to get people to actually see this post if I call them pinwheel appetizers. So that's what the title is. And that's the keyword, pinwheel appetizers, that I've used strategically throughout the post to make this post hopefully findable on Google if someone were to search for pinwheel appetizers. So you'll see that it's right here at the top. So this is one of the most important places to put a keyword, is in the title, right here at the top in the first 100 words. Cream cheese roll-ups is another related keyword that I found in my research, that if you're going to use this, use that also. So that's the reason why that's in there. Let's see, so that's the headline. Picture, so there's a picture right off the bat, so they know what they're getting into, they know what it is, what they're making. The intro, so the intro is this section, is you're going to love these. And so the reason for my intro to be that is I've veered away from those bloggers who go, so when I was growing up, I remember the first time I ever had a pinwheel, and and then when I was 7, and then when I was 12, and then when I was 19. So I thought my strategy, and now it's all about the reader. It's all about the person coming to the site and what's in it for them and why they're going to love it. Nobody gives a rip when I first had a pinwheel. So so why they will like this recipe. It's make ahead, it's bright and fresh flavors, it's super easy to make. So that's sort of that intro part. And then the main points are how to make Mexican street corn pinwheel appetizers. So again, here's that word, pinwheel appetizers. That's in a subheading, which is another important place to put a keyword. So that's dual purpose, right? It's functional how-to, but it also serves the purpose of getting that keyword in again. And then blah, 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 blah. Here's how you make it, blah, blah, blah. And then let's see. The conclusion, I guess, of mine is really like, here's the recipe, right? You know, that's what you're kind of looking for. But then at the end, there's, you know, this link takes down to comments. So I'd like to know if you've tried this, tell me, did it turn out for you? Did you like it? What did you think? And then, you know, adding more value to the post by adding ingredient notes. So like I always try to think ahead. If someone is to be making this and if they would have questions like, okay, you know, how do I grill corn? That's one of the ingredients, but I don't know how, what if I don't have a grill? Well, then what can I do? And so just trying to think about other ways that this post can be helpful and be proactive, you know, proactively answer questions that people will have so that I can establish authority as a food writer, and that they won't have to go searching around to answer the questions on how to make this one recipe. Hopefully everything that they will need is right here. And that's why, you know, that's why I include a lot of these process shots. Like I had to take a minute and go, okay, well, what's the best way to store this? Oh, wrap it in plastic. Oh, wrap it in plastic like that. I mean, some of these seem like, why would you do those? But it's like, I don't know, I kind of had to look some of these things up too. So I just assume somebody else would too. And then at the bottom, related posts. So this is kind of a party food. This is something you would bring when you're going somewhere, usually. And so, you know, the related posts are, you looking for more recipes to bring to your next party? Here's some more of those. So anyway, just wanted to kind of give you a practical look at a post with sort of all of those pieces of the anatomy in place. Does anyone have any questions before I move on?
Yes. When you're writing this, you just told us that this is about the reader, not the writer, and how you didn't go into what you were like as a kid with this recipe. Do you write in first person or third person?
I write in first person because I might still like, I think that one actually had like a little bit of like, I don't think I've ever been to a Midwestern potluck that didn't have at least one kind of a pinwheel. Like okay. That's about as much as I'll probably go into these days about that kind of a thing. Okay. But it's still me, and I still want people to connect with me.
You. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So first person is it? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I have a question, Kara.
Yep.
Are you going to be showing us how to go about finding keywords, like how you've done that research?
Yep.
Okay. And then with your keywords, do you usually incorporate them into your alt tags for your imagery as well, or do you leave that off and just? Yep. Yes. Okay.
Perfect segue, Carissa.
Me. It's like I knew, but I didn't know.
I'll flip you a $5 after this. Okay. All right. So the next kind of part I want to talk about is SEO. I don't know if everybody knows what SEO is or what it stands for.
Search engine optimization. Yeah.
Pardon?
I was just saying search engine optimization.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So really, it's optimizing your page so that search engines will find it. Right. So that's what all those keywords are for. Like I want the keyword pinwheel appetizer to be throughout so that if someone's looking for pinwheel appetizer, they're going to find it, right? And you know, Google has said that they want a page to satisfy user intent, right? So like I could rank for, I don't know, like dog slippers or something, you know, like I could, But if I put that on my page and someone came to my site and they'd be like, what, where's the dog slippers, right? They're not going to find that. They're going to go away right away. And then Google is going to go, that did not satisfy user intent. So, so that's what it's like. The whole name of the game for SEO really is making your page as findable for the right people who are looking for what you have. So there's all these different ways to do it, and that's what we're going to talk about. Let's see. Okay, so the three factors are depth and value of content. So, providing, more than a paragraph of text about whatever topic it is, but providing, a good, rich, deep and wide amount of content that will satisfy what somebody is looking for. Proper use and repetition of primary keyword and other keywords, and then page user experience, right? Because again, it's all about the user. It's zero about us. It's 100% about the person coming to the site. So keyword research. That's me doing my keyword research. Okay, so some of the things that I use for keyword research are, there are some free resources, and if anybody knows of more, because things have changed as far as what the resources are. But I'll give you a couple of, I'll show you some of these and how I use them or have used them. And then if anybody else has more, let's shout them out. So one of the first ones that I have used, and it's changed over time, and it's called Ubersuggest. And it's right here. And so it's very valuable. And I'm going to just type in angel food cake, right? Because those are the things that I look for. So if I type in angel food cake for a keyword, right? So this is me having to pass this stupid test so that I can prove I'm not a robot. Okay, so I want to find keywords about angel food cake, that if I'm going to write a post about angel food cake, that some ideas that I should use, right? And the reason that I wouldn't just not even look and put angel food cake is, I'll show you why. Angel food cake has, oh, not that hard actually, but it has a search volume of 74,000 a month. So that means 74,000 people every month are looking for angel food cake. SEO difficulty. So this is a score. The lower it is, the easier it is for a site to rank for. The higher it is, the harder it is. 37 actually isn't bad. So I thought it would be higher than that. And so SEO difficulty refers to organic traffic, which means people just typing in angel food cake. Paid difficulty, that refers to paid ads, Google ads, those Google ads that are on the top and on the side. That is a metric of how difficult it is to get your ad to show up if you're going to pay for an ad with the angel food cake. I'm not looking at that because we're not talking about paid ads today. So this Ubersuggest, so it's showing me the search volume. I don't think it's showing, you can only get so far on Ubersuggest these days. It used to be free, and now it's like a whole, you can sign up and get a certain level, and then now it's a pay to play thing. But you can get so far right now. So they're showing me the search volume traffic from October to February. And now if I go down to keyword ideas, I'm just going to click here on view all keyword ideas. And so here it's showing me the volume per month of people looking for that particular keyword. And then I go over here to the SEO difficulty. Those are kind of the places that I look to find a keyword that I think I could rank for. So like angel food cake recipe, 33,000 with a keyword difficulty of 16. That's pretty, that's low hanging fruit right there. That seems like it would be easy for a site to rank for. So like note to self, change all my posts to angel food cake recipe, right? That seems like a good one to go after. So that's how, when you're looking at whatever keyword tool, those are kind of the places that I look: volume and keyword difficulty, and looking for a lower volume keyword to work into my content. Let's see, there's another one called Ahrefs, A-H-R-E-F-S. Again, it's similar information. They only give you so much. You can only get so far with it. But sometimes it's helpful to have, you know, if you can only get so far on Ubersuggest and you use all your freebies, hop over to the next one and use all their freebies and just keep going down the line if you don't want to have to pay for it. So here again, KD is keyword difficulty. So that's showing me, interesting how it's a little bit different, right? Showing me what the keyword difficulty is and what the volume is. What's this one? I can't see, whoops. Okay, another one is Google Ads Keyword Planner. And this is one that you would need to have a Google account for, and then you would click into Google Ads, and it's under Tools, where you would go to Keyword Planner. And this is one, I'll start at the very beginning here. So if you go into Google Ads, go into Keyword Planner, and then under Discover New Keywords, type in angel food cake. There again, it's going to show me, it's not as specific, like it shows ranges of what the average monthly searches are, what the competition is, if it's low or if it's high. And that's basically what that score was, that numerical score of 34 or whatever it was on Ubersuggest, is really showing you how difficult it is. One little caveat on Google Ads, because this is part of their ad platform, this is really showing you how to rank for if you're going to be buying ads with Google. So that's what this information is about, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be helpful for you if you're looking for keyword ideas to optimize your posts. And then I'm going to show you this one. This is called Key Search. Now this is a paid one. Carissa, I don't know if you pay for any keyword tool, but this is one that I was recently turned on to, because it's $17 a month, which wasn't, you know, was pretty affordable in comparison to other ones that I had been finding. So this is one that if you are blogging very consistently and need something, you can't live with those with the freebies and you're going to be using them up too quickly. This is one that I've found has been helpful for me. But there again, it gives me kind of this similar information. It shows me the volume. It shows me the score. It shows me, kind of different tools to help me. There's one that's really cool. I don't know if I'm going to find it right now. More tools, content assistant. So here's one. This has been very helpful for me. So it's called Content Assistant, I think. And so when I am creating content, it tells me, gives me the score of 49. It says average Google first place word count is this many words for, if you're creating content on that topic, this is what Google is rating in first place. These are the recommended keywords. If you're going to be using keywords, these are the ones you must include. And I think they say try to use at least 40% of these keywords. And then if I click over into keywords, and there's related keywords that'll just help further optimize your post to give Google even more clues that this page really is about angel food cakes. It's going to see words like angel food cake pan and whipped cream and strawberries and all those things that are typically egg whites, all those things that are typically with an angel food cake post. Another one, which is kind of fun, and maybe it's just the video component of it that I like, but is answer the public. So a feature of, a lot of my posts is trying to think, like, if you have a topic and, you're trying to solve a problem, right? By writing whatever it is that we're writing. But what is the problem that people have about angel food cake or whatever it is? So I'm laughing at this guy, but so if I type in angel food cake, and again, I think you only get so many searches on this these days, it'll give you the questions that people are asking. And I'm going to arrange it like this so that it's in a normal way that we can read it. So like, these are the questions. So while I'm writing my blog post, I might write a whole blog post about how angel food cake is made, or can angel food cake be frozen? Maybe I'll have an FAQ section at the end that picks, the questions that people are asking to make sure that if anybody's looking for that, A, they're going to find the information that they want, and B, maybe I'll be found when someone types in that question, right? So it's a kind of a dual thing. So anyway, that's kind of a fun one. Carissa, are there any other or anybody else, any other keyword research tools that you have or use?
One of the ones that I use a lot, because fiction writing is a little bit different. I mean, this is the sort of stuff I would use for Author Revolution, but for the fiction side of things, I use a tool called Publisher Rocket. And I'm able to find keywords more associated towards like Amazon or the back dashboards of, the publishing platforms. But what's cool about Publisher Rocket is that it also gives searches, like the search framework of how many searches on Google that particular keyword will have as well. So if you're trying to rank on Amazon and then want to know what Google's doing, you get those same information values. It's not going to be giving you the quality in terms of your blog necessarily, but it does this exact same thing with competition scores, where it's like you can rank for these keywords on Amazon, easy, hard, whatever. It almost gives the exact same kind of framework where it's saying what the search quality is, how many other authors are using that keyword, so what's your competition score, things like that. So it's very, very similar when it comes to like the fiction side of things.
Okay.
Yeah, Kara, I just wanted to mention, what Carissa just said. I didn't know about Publisher Rocket until she mentioned it, and on her Author Revolution website, I think do you have a link or something where you can purchase that?
Yeah, it's such a valuable tool that it's on there as one of the tools I recommend often.
So that tool is very new for me, and I've just loved using it more recently. But to tell you a little bit about, especially if you're new here, what these things that Kara is teaching today, I got onto these methods about 16, 17 years ago. And it's a lot of work, doing what she's teaching, looking up all these words, and getting them on your website or getting them incorporated in your blog. But here's what happened to me when I did. I went from a business that was largely working locally in the Twin Cities to an international business. Now, did I have to keep redoing my websites over and over and over again? A lot of what you'll see online, they'll say, oh, you have to blog all the time and you have to update your website all the time. My websites have been static for 16 or 17 years with the appropriate keywords, and I haven't had to touch them. So that should clue you in that largely your competition is lazy. They do not want to work. And everybody that's in this group, we're all worker bees. We're aggressive about these techniques, but like in my instance, you only have to do this once. 16, 17 years, I have not had to go out and sell anything. So that's just my testimonial of what Kara's teaching here today. Just use these techniques. You'll go far.
Well, congratulations, Jack, on that success. That's awesome. And what a great testimonial that this works. And yeah, it does work. And you're right. This is the hard work. This is, I mean, and this is the foundational, unsexy part of running a website. You know, this isn't the part that anybody sees. This is all the under the hood stuff. That's, you know, and it's a long haul approach, right? You're not going to add a keyword and then go check and find that, you know, you're automatically ranking for anything. It takes time. You know, some of them hit more quickly than others, but it's a long haul approach. Okay, so I know, Carissa, you were asking about image alt tags and things like that. So, so I was going to go into a post and kind of show where these keywords go. Maybe I'll just do this one. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the bottom of the post that will show the meta. So the meta title and meta description. So, you know, when you do a Google search, the things that show up, the title that shows up and the little description that shows up that makes you, that you read and you decide whether or not you're going to click it, that's the meta title and the meta description. So it's important to have the keyword, you know, in the meta title, in the meta description. I pointed out the places in the content where it was in the, you know, again, it's in the title, it's in that first paragraph, it's in a subheader. It's in the, oh, you can't see it now because it's typically in the URL. So, you know, the little tag at the top that would say Midwestern Home Life dash Mexican street corn pinwheel appetizers is what that would say.
If you click that little permalink thing on the right hand bar, it should drop down and show it too if you wanted to show it. I don't know if you do or not.
Yeah, I'm on a staging site. It's a whole thing.
Got it.
And then image alt text. So I'll go just quickly here to, let's see. So so when you add images to your media folder of your site, you know, optimizing the alt text, you want to include your keywords, but also be sensitive that the purpose of an alt tag on an image is to help people with screen readers who are visually impaired understand what a photo is. That's the point of it. And so you don't want to trick the system and make that not function for the people who need that functionality. But you can do both, right? So, I mean, this is what the picture is of, and so that's what it is. But so that's just another way of optimizing your post. And also, and I will say that I have failed in doing this, but when I save an image, like I'll work it up in Photoshop or whatever, and then I'll save the image file. If the image file name, rather than it being image 7864 dash whatever, if I change the title of the image file name to have the keyword in it too, that's one more place to optimize your post.
What's the recommended size of pictures to post on a blog?
It'll probably depend on your theme. I guess that's, I don't know, Chris, if you have any other, like mine, for example, to keep the proper pixel width, I guess I typically go around 1200 pixels for width. The height, I guess, doesn't matter as much, but it's more about file size and keeping your website, you know, lean and mean. So I typically go, I'd have to look. I want to say 250. Let's see where I'm at. So that's probably a little big.
That's only 66 kilobytes, so it's a reasonably small file.
As the technology has gotten better, that question isn't as important as what it used to be, because about every 3 months now you can put larger and larger images online because the technology can handle it and the bandwidth of telecom is increasing.
Yeah.
So we've kind of tipped over where it's more the quality of the picture of the image is almost more important than those technical things about size anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to have, it's like, I think I try to keep them under like 250 kilobytes, but I used to have just like super big files, all of my images where I wasn't paying any attention to it. And it was just bogging it down. And so, yeah, I've noticed a big difference in just how, fast my site is just by keeping those image sizes down. And those are parts of the quality scores that Google, takes into effect for everything. If it's going to take forever for your site to load, if it takes 3 to 7 seconds for someone to even get to your site, they're going to move on and never to come back again. So
you can also include, sorry, Kara, you can also include a plugin into, like, if you're using WordPress. The one that I use, just so that in case I do forget to reduce the file size of my photo, I use something called Short Pixel. So it doesn't matter what type of document, whether it's a document, a PDF, an image, whatever, it'll automatically optimize the image so that the file size is smaller on the website and put that one on the hosting side. So there's other ways to be able to get around it too, if you don't want to really think too much about how to reduce file size.
Yeah, and I use one called Imagify. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but Imagify. Same.
Got it.
Similar. Yep. Okay, let's see. One of the other pieces, I think we've talked a little bit about this, about just, finding ways, again, the point is, how are we creating blog posts that people actually want to read, right? So adding value. So answering the question that brought them to your site in the first place, and then finding ways to add value. So finding unique and useful content to add. Another one is being proactive. And so again, if you've been blogging for a long time, you're like, oh, trying to come up with ideas of what to write about and when should I write about what. Another tool that I like to use is Google Trends. It's just trends.google.com. And so let's say I want to find out what are the trends around when people are searching for angel food cake. So I can go in the past, let's say, I'll go the past 5 years, because that'll show me the highs and lows, right, over time. So I'll go, oh, looks like, every year around June? I don't know what it is about June that makes people want angel food cake, but there's something. So, so that tells me, okay, I should probably April, May, June, I should probably start writing about it in April, right? So that it's kind of out in the world in time for when people are looking for it. So it's just kind of a way, it'll show you related topics about whatever it is that you're looking for. It'll show you like, looks like keto angel food cake is a breakout topic. So meaning everyone's looking for that all of a sudden, or, so there's this kind of interesting information you can get from Google Trends if you're looking for content ideas and when to write about certain topics. Average word count. So they say Google wants you to have at least 300 words on a page in order for them to rank anything. I don't know that that's a hard and fast thing. I've got posts that are smaller than that people are finding just fine. But I think it's just a rule of thumb, I think, to just try not to, how much. I think it's probably more about making sure that there's enough substance on a page that you could potentially answer somebody's question, or give them relevant information about something. average word count. This is just a stat that I pulled as far as you know, what the average word count is of Google's top rated, top ranked blog posts is 2,100 to 2,400 words. Internal and external links. So meaning adding a link to your blog post to another blog post of yours or another page of yours. That would be an internal link. So when I say, want more picnic ideas, recipes, here's a link to my potato salad. Here's a link to my whatever. Those are internal links. Those serve two things. Those are good for SEO, optimizing your page and just kind of giving more clues that this is a valuable site about these sorts of things. But also it's a value for your readers, because if they're interested in what you're writing about, you're making it super easy for them to find other things that you're writing about. And then external links, meaning, so let's say like I don't have anything to, I've never written anything about strawberry shortcake, but here's a good recipe for that. If you're looking for that, go over to this person's site. Or, you know, want to buy a cake pan, here's where you can go buy the cake pan. Those are external links. And again, those are good for optimizing your site for SEO and also just helpful, right? If you're going to make an angel food cake, not everybody has the pan. Here's where you go get that. Adding value, the editorial calendar. So that's kind of a two-sided thing. Editorial calendar is a good way of organizing your schedule. And by editorial calendar, I mean just planning out your content, you know, a month, 2 months, you know, 6 months, good for you, man. But but however far in advance you can plan it out. I mean, it sometimes can help take the pressure off of you to kind of, if you can just sit down and kind of do all your thinking and chart it out now, using Google Trends to go, okay, I know I want to write about this particular topic. When's the best time? Okay, I'm going to plug that into October. Okay, here's another topic. I'm going to plug that into February, and just help and build your calendar that way. And then it's a little bit easier because you've kind of done the thinking already. So when it goes to creating your content, you can just kind of go to your list and work through it. And it helps you stay on task too by having that.
Is there a special software you use for that kind of calendar?
I use a Google
Okay.
spreadsheet. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else uses anything.
I use Evernote.
Mm.
I have used ones in Asana before. There's calendars you can use there, but I don't know that anybody, just individuals, use Asana.
Carissa introduced me to Trello. I said, what in the world is Trello?
Spell that.
But after I seen what the tool was, it was one of those aha moments. Why didn't I invent that?
It's awesome. It's spelled Trello, and it's a kind of like a plug and play, drag and drop kind of. You can actually do it in multiple things. They even have calendars and all sorts of stuff now. But it's actually very, very beneficial and helpful, especially if you're a visual person when you want to design editorial calendars or anything really.
And she was using it for, what was it? Was it for like a story, something
For an outline?
For
Yep.
a story outline. But what I've done is I've taken it and I kind of reconstructed my my calendar that I keep track of my work on. And there's a plugin that's called Plan Away that works. It kind of puts Trello on steroids.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra add-ons that you can put into Trello that make it really valuable. I used it a lot for organizing story outlines before I found Plotter, and now that I found Plotter, that's actually what I use more, at least as of this year. But yeah, Trello is amazing for so many different ways, for so many different uses.
Okay, let's see, what's next? Okay, just going through just sort of different ways to, you know, captivate your audience and get their attention. So again, you know, kind of utilizing some of those sales strategies, or if you know about the sales funnel and, using different methods to draw people in and keep them there and, give them offers and, just kind of keep them in your web the whole time. So there we go with, some of those, using your meta title and your meta description, right? Because if someone's searching for something and your result shows up on the page, you want them to click it. So, it's not enough to just make sure your keyword is in there. It needs to be, enticing, and it needs to be, relevant to what they're searching for, and better than, the other results that show up on the page. You want them to pick yours, right? Let's see. Okay, so using different things to create interest and creating a headline. This is still a statistic that was true. I had to look it up because it's been around for a while, but headlines that feature an odd number are still like what people choose. So 7 ways to do this and 5 top tips for that, and whatever. So whatever reason, odd numbers, I guess, attract our eyes more than odd numbers, or more than even numbers. It says headlines with odd numbers generate 36% more engagement than headlines without, and get 22% more clicks than even numbers.
Wow.
Right. Let's see. Create interest. So ways to create interest and also kind of help organize your blog. So I think the first blog post I ever wrote was like 5 paragraphs, no headers, no bullets, just like an essay, right? Who is going to read that? I mean, so the purpose of headers, not only help carry people through and let them know what it's about, like at a glance, right? People are going to look at your blog for a couple of seconds and decide whether or not they're going to stay. If your headlines are speaking their language and they know they're going to find what they're looking for there, that's, one purpose of the headlines. 2, it breaks it up, right? Nobody wants to look at those big blocks of text. And then also just SEO, right? It's again a good place to put your keywords in some of those headlines. Don't make them all, keyword, but use your keyword in a couple of them. And then calling the reader to action. So using, you want them to do something when they're on your page, right? Like why are they there? What do you want them to do? I heard this quote that said something like, any post or any page that doesn't give a reader something to do after they're done reading it is bad marketing. They should be led to do something after that, whether it's reading more about this or signing up for a newsletter to get all the latest news on this topic. But it's always about giving them the opportunity to do something. They've chosen to be there. They've made it down to the bottom. They want to be there. They want whatever is next. So give it to them, right? Let's see. Build inbound links. I don't know what to say about this. This is a hard topic. So I will tell you what I know about it, but I don't have any sort of answers, and maybe Carissa does. But inbound links mean, let's say let's say Carissa's website has a link to my website. So she's saying, like, I don't know why she would ever say this, but hey, want an angel food cake recipe? Here's one. And then
you never know. There might be something inside my story that makes complete sense that I'm gonna go, you know what? Hey, check this one out.
Yeah, no, I know. But so let's say she did that, right? And she would say, here's a link to an angel food cake recipe. And then it would be a link to my site. So that for me is an inbound link. For her, that's outbound. For me, that's inbound. And that is a major vote in Google's eyes that this is a good, this is it's a vote of confidence, really, to get another site to link to yours. And they're hard to get, and people try to do all kinds of tricky things to get them, like they'll buy them, or they'll, I don't know, get into some sort of maybe not so good practices of trying to get other links to their site. But it can increase your search rankings. It is very important for your SEO. A couple of things that I have heard about, and I don't know if these are necessarily good practices or not, but like doing outreach. So let's say you can find, let's say I find a web page that I would like to have a post on, right? So I Google, what are the best angel food cake recipes, and I see somebody's site, and I would like to have mine on that site too. But maybe I don't go for the one that's ranking number 1, right? Because that's probably like all recipes, or like, I don't know, someone that might not really be wasting their time on me. But I'll go down to like number 5, somewhere that's still in a respectable position on page 1, and go, oh, okay, this place is, some other recipe, roundup type site. I'm going to contact them. They're probably still looking for, for places. So that would be one way, is to just go out and actively look for the kinds of sites that you would want links for, and just start contacting people and asking for that. There are other things like, if you're as a company or as an individual, if you make a charitable contribution and you have an opportunity to give your website and your contact information, and they have a web page where they say, these are all our sponsors, let's show some appreciation for them, and you have a link to your site, that's a backlink, right? I mean, so there are things.
I will even mention that as members of the Lakes Area Writers Alliance, you are always welcome to guest post on our blog, and that becomes a backlink back to your website, because we'll give you author credit. You can include whatever links you need to obviously include, and there you go. There's an automatic backlink for you, FYI.
Yeah. So it's a game of creativity and perseverance, but it's worth it. And I think over time, as you're creating good content and your site is naturally rising through the ranks, those that are looking for resources are going to find you. But still, it's a critical piece of SEO is getting inbound links.
One thing that I've found to be important, and this is real easy when you stop and you think about, what Kara's teaching this morning, about how to produce good content. If you're producing good content that's relevant, and relevancy, in the mass market comes and goes. But most of us as writers, we're writing in particular genres. So we're into a time where, most marketing is niche marketing. So if you're just relevant, if you're just doing good work, others will reach out to you, and they will link back, to your blog or to your website. And probably 80% of the time, it will be other bloggers who are wanting to produce good content in their blogs. And, and they've found something good and they want to share it with others. So just be relevant, produce good content. That helps you to get backlinks.
Can you speak to Canva somewhere before you go?
What would you like to talk about? I love Canva.
Does it cost anything?
So there's a free version that you can do many. In fact, this is Canva. We're on Canva right now.
Yeah, I see that up there.
Okay, you saw that. Okay, yeah. So there is a free version that you can do many things. And I used it for a long time. Then there's a premium version, and I can't remember what it costs, but it gave me access to more photos basically for some of my clients and a few extra features. But is there something specific about Canva that you wanted to know about?
Exactly what does it do? Other than photos, what does it do?
Yeah, so you can create, so I use it for, gosh, I use it to create images for social media. So let's see.
Simply said, it's a page making tool, you know, for making any kind of a two-dimensional page or presentation that you can think of.
Yeah, so for example, I create pins for Pinterest on it. So these are all the pins that I've made for this particular recipe. I've made, I don't look, so here's like not my stuff now. So Instagram posts, Facebook posts, posters, flyers. And then if you go to create something new, let's say you want to create a, I don't know, we'll just pick something out of the air, poster. Then you can go to templates, and then it gives you all these all these templates as a starting, you know, so you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to, like, you're not a designer, you know, but you want to
Even if you are a designer, it's super helpful.
yeah, but it gives you a place to start though, right? Because I would never in a million years dream up, you know, something like this, but it gives me a starting point, and then I can add and subtract and make it look the way I want it to look. But it's
Okay. So you take your own food pictures and then use Canva to spruce them up?
Yeah.
And is there a cost per use for each photo?
No.
It depends. It depends though. There are some premium photos. If you're including those in some premium videos, if you start to incorporate the premium ones, then you would have to have the paid version.
Yeah.
But there are a ton of free photos on
Yeah.
that site.
So right now I'm in photos. And so right here, like that little crown says pro. So I have the pro version. So those are all included for me. But if you have the free version, then it's like, sometimes it's like $1 a photo, which is a lot less than buying them from other places if you just really want
Getty.
to. What's that?
Getty.
Oh.
Okay.
So, yeah, does that answer?
That helps.
Okay. It's wonderful.
I love Canva as well.
I know, yeah.
They even have new new sections now where you can create, if you've done a book cover where they've got the ability now, like it's not very many, so it's not as good as using something like All Author or BookBrush, but you can include your front cover of your book and it'll put it as like a template inside an image where someone's holding a book, or the book is sitting on a desk or whatever, where it automatically 3Ds it and puts it in there very nicely. There's not many, like I said, but my guess is if they're starting to include that, it's something that they're going to start incorporating more of.
There's also a program called Designer, which does basically the same thing as Canva. It's DESYNSER. So it's the same, basically the same thing, but it's got a few different aspects to it as far as putting your formats together and all that stuff.
What was the name of that again, please?
Designer.
But with a Y instead of an I?
Yeah. I use it because I can use it on my Android.
Oh, good to know.
Canva, you can use on Android too, but you know.
Yeah, they've got a nice complement app that goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's definitely come a long way from when they first started their app, which basically you could look at the images and that was it. You couldn't do anything with it.
Okay, so kind of getting toward the end here. I know it's been an hour, but so, you know, I don't know if all of you have blogs or are looking to start a blog, but I know that, you know, if you sort of know what you want to write about, if you can narrow it down to a specific niche, you know, the greater chances you will have of attracting the right kind of people, right? So like, having a writer website versus like, I write mysteries, I write this, I write that. You will, the more you can narrow it down, I guess the easier it will be for you to, I guess, probably the content that you'll create will be more specific to that particular niche. And then, probably be able to acquire that audience more quickly.
What's a listicle?
Okay, yeah. So starting with the topic, narrow your focus, then article types. So articles that are 3,000 words get 3 times more traffic, 4 times more shares, and 3.5 times more backlinks than shorter articles. And then listicles get 2 times more shares than blog post format. So listicles are those ones like, I don't know if you've ever looked at like BuzzFeed or any of those where it's like the 13 different ways to do blah, blah, blah. And then it's a list of those 13 things. That's a listicle.
I see a lot of that on Pinterest.
Yeah, and some of them are also called like roundup posts too, depending on the sources of them. It could be like, 13 angel food cake recipes, right? And so it'd be like from 13 different sources.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody hungry for angel food cake yet?
Yes, yes.
So if you're looking for ideas, and I know you're all writers, and you might think you already know exactly what you want to write about, but if you want to narrow it down, right, trying to come up with how to find your niche. These are some of the questions that I had to ask myself, because I knew I wanted to write, but I didn't know what I wanted to write about, right? Because when I first created my blog, and it's had 100 iterations since before where I'm at now, but it was like, what do people tell you you're good at? Well, people always would tell me I should have a cookbook or a restaurant or something like that. Okay, well, I like food, and I like writing, and I like writing about food. So that seems kind of like a natural fit. What do you have special skills in? What training or education do you have? What's a unique experience you've had? So when I started my blog, I think I was just like probably 2 years off of completing the Dave Ramsey program. And so I was still a little jazzed about that. So I decided to add a debt-free section to my website and adding some kind of articles about our experience doing that. So I guess asking some of those questions helped me, because I was like, I don't know what I would write about. But I had to really kind of think about those things, like from an outsider's perspective, what would someone else ask me questions about that I don't even realize that I'm good at this, or I have experience in this. So write what you know, right? And write what you want to know more about, right? Because you'll never learn more than, if you're researching a topic for, something that you're going to be writing about. If you have a deep interest in it and you don't have all the information yet, but you want to get good at it, there's no better way than to just throw yourself into it and start taking those steps toward being an expert at it.
I think from a writer's perspective too, one of the things to add to that is, once you know what genre you're going to be writing in as an author, rather than, if you want to actually start pulling people over to your blog versus, for instance, for me, I just put my newsletter out there right now because I can't double content at the moment. But when I get more time to be able to put focus into my blog the way I want to, my goal is ultimately to start writing towards, what would my reader be looking for if they're looking for a good book, knowing that my books would be a good fit. So, what are the top 10 books in your genre right now that you've read that you love, or, things that would get them interested into the stuff that you write about, the stuff that you're interested in writing about, so that they still come into your world and realize, oh, you're an author too, and you contribute to this type of genre, whatever the case might be, so that it's content that's very aligned with what you already are writing in the fiction world or nonfiction world, I suppose, as well. But nonfiction would be a lot easier post-wise. Like if you're writing cookbooks, having a food blog would make total sense.
So I will leave this with, don't focus on having a great blog. focus on producing a blog that's great for your readers. Again, it isn't about us, it's about providing value to our readers. The end.
Can
Can I ask how many here have a blog currently? How many is that, Chris? I can only see it.
I can only see 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's probably about half of us would be my guess.
Does anyone have any other questions? Everyone was so great about asking things throughout, but want to give anyone a chance to ask any more, or if any of you, have other things that you like, Jack or Chris, or any of you who have blogs and have other things that would provide more value to this conversation.
I think one of the things that might help authors too, I don't know about other authors, but for me, when I'm writing every day for my stories, sometimes writing then a blog gets to be cumbersome. So one of the things that I really enjoyed kind of pivoting to is doing a podcast or is doing videos and then incorporating them into the blog in some way, shape, or form. So that way it's a different type of content. I feel like I am able to kind of stretch my creative wings a little bit, but yet still create content that can pull people into my website and into the stuff that I'm currently working on or doing or thinking about. And that seems to still help as well. It's not as searchable sometimes unless you're including transcripts or including things like that, but it's still something, it's still another way to be able to include new content that people can search and find.
And that's a great point, because do you post them on YouTube?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a video related one, I'll post it on YouTube.
Yeah.
If it's just audio, like the podcast, unless it's an interview, I usually just post it on the podcast itself and then my website.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've all probably seen the stat by now that YouTube is the second largest search engine, right, to Google. So, so there's, great value to that. But then the other point that I wanted to make is, when you create a blog post or a piece of content, whatever it is, if it's a video or whatever it is, that if you are incorporating a full calendar of social media and, wherever else you're promoting yourself using your blog post, you could probably get a month's worth of social media content. If you think of that piece of content and splinter it off into, social media posts, you can get a ton of mileage. Use that piece of content and all the hours of work that you put into it to juice it for every little last drop it's got.
Juice it,
right? Use
That's
Canva
good.
like the crazy thing it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and pull out nuggets, pull out a line here and there, and your little tips, and maybe you can, not boil it down, but you can grab 3 tips that you can throw it on social media and go, want to see the last, what's number 4? Come see it, whatever,
Right.
but use that content to maximize your stretch.
I think one thing that hasn't been said is, there's a traditional blog format where, content is being added, daily or weekly or monthly or maybe quarterly. Right from the get-go, I kind of hybrid that, and I just started putting content on web pages. I didn't have the time to keep up with regular posting, so I kind of did it that way. But then what happened to me is a multitude of other blog writers picked up on my content and they wanted to feature it on their blogs. And so it kind of, I guess it must have been infectious because it spread.
Right, that's what you want.
From my articles into other blogs, where it, got incorporated in the more typical blogging format. So there's always more than one ways to do things.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Comments?
I sure appreciate you doing this, Kara. It's something that will inspire me to get going on my blog.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Reach out
Same.
anytime if you have questions.
will do.
Thank you.
It always makes me want to do it too. Like go back and like, oh, I should really create a better editorial
Yeah.
calendar again. And then I'm like, do I really have the time for it right now? It's like, oh, dang it. You inspire too much. It's kind of a
Yeah.
double-edged sword there, Kara.
But great ideas. Thank you for all
So
of
many
us.
good.
Yep, thank you.
Excellent presentation.
Absolutely. Well, is there any other questions that anyone else has for anything else? Are we good?
Yes.
Or is there?
Yes, I'm the sunshine person, and I see faces that I don't have birthdays for.
Oh my God. Well, you better go ahead and ask.
Yeah, I see an Amy. I don't think I have your birthday. And
Yes, welcome, Amy. And to Allison. Have we seen Allison before?
no, I haven't seen Allison. And there was a Christy Lund just a minute ago, but I don't see her now. Did she go?
Tina was here. I don't know if she left.
L-U-N, I might have her, L-U-N-D-E.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Steve, we want to thank you for coming today. It's good to
absolutely.
have you on board at the meeting.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Lots of great information.
And we do alternate a lot with our educational topics. So sometimes we want to be able to contribute to all areas of writers. So we have a lot of fiction writers in this group, but we also have a lot of freelance writers. And so we want to make sure that we're helping writers in all different capacities. And usually things will still cross over in some way, shape, or form. Like blogging is still going to impact, fiction writers. But yeah, so if there's ever a topic that you're wanting to know more information on or anything like that, you can always reach out by emailing info@lawamn, so LAWAMN.org, and we can make sure to get it on the editorial calendar for a topic coming up down the road. Yeah, there's always so many things. We were working on in-person and online events coming up. So we've got a conference in the fall. We're not quite sure if it's going to be hybridized or in person. We're leaning towards in person, right? And hybridized. So we're this close to pulling that and saying, yes, we are going to be in person as well. Well, actually, I think we're really, really close. Kara's like, yes, we are. And Jack's over there like, yes.
Yes,
They're both on the committee. So there's a lot of really cool events that are coming, and just stay tuned because there's so many different ways. We're going to be doing another Storyville project very soon as well. Information for that is going to be coming out. So if you're a fiction writer, what kind of writing do you do, Steve?
Right now, I've written a couple of children's books. Just short, rhyming type children's books. But I have ideas for, as odd as it sounds, a story about a quilt. And I know that doesn't sound too exciting, but my wife is a big quilter, and she inspired me to write about a quilt that means a lot to a family. So, from its roots up through the next generation of children, and then through a crisis. And so
how cool is that?
I'm hoping that it all comes together. I've got pieces and parts, first chapter started, and I'm not quite sure if I'm leaning towards a short story or if I want to really, get into character development and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where I got to with it, and then stopped. Life took over, and it got very busy. So I'm hoping to get back into it. And I was inspired when Jack told me about the Storyville project. So. Yeah.
Excellent.
Sounds
Amy,
like
what kind
it'd
of
be
writing do you
perfect
do?
for another Storyville.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It sounds like it'd be a perfect story for another Storyville project.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So Amy, tell us a little bit about you. What do you write?
Guys, I have been in school for the last 2 years, and I joined this group mainly just to learn. I mean, I don't blog. I written stories for my kids as they were growing up. I really don't know what I'm doing other than I
Sure.
usually just journal. I kind of write poetry a little bit, but like Steve just mentioned, coming up with those ideas. And I have some children's stories. I just don't know what to do with them. I really don't know how to publish, how to do anything. Is something that I would love to learn more about. But I also work at a library, so I'm always like inspired to just keep moving forward. So I'm here mainly
Yeah.
just to learn, absorb. Just call me the sponge.
Well, there's a lot of new things that are opening up for children's books and being able to self-publish children's books in both digital format and print format. So you've definitely come to the right place. We have a number of authors who have done children's books. Becky Flansburgh is one of them. So I would love to connect you with her. She can tell you kind of what her journey has been like, if you'd like, if you're interested in learning kind of what she's done in order to be published. And there's so many different options available. So definitely, actually you, Steve, as well, if you're interested in turning the quilt story even into an illustrated version, there are illustrators that you could be working with. There's ways to be able to work with Bang Printing in town. There's ways to be able to get it in ebook format. So many different options are available. Definitely. And how about you, Allison? What do you write? Welcome.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Right now I'm just been doing nature writing.
Okay.
And I guess, yeah, with that I just mostly write short stories about my adventures in nature. So
That's fantastic. You would get along so well with Emily. Do you know Emily Stress?
yes, I write for Lakes Country Journal.
Okay, great. I was gonna say you'd be fitting right in there.
Yeah.
She'll be one of the authors along with David next week that'll be signing in the Storyville project in Aiken. So that's awesome. Well, you definitely come to the right place as well. We've got people right in that genre as well. So for those of you who are new, so my name is Carissa Andrews. We probably should have done this in the beginning. I'm the president of the board for the Lakes Area Writers Alliance. And I write fiction, but I also do a lot of teaching through my own organization, Author Revolution. So we do a lot of self-publishing stuff. So I can teach authors how to self-publish and how to get their books out there in the world. And then we've got, okay, let's see, we've got Sue over here, who is our on our committees for being able to do so many fun things. She's our, Miss Sunshine, right? Is that what it's called? She welcomes everybody, sends out birthday cards, and oh gosh, you've coordinated so many cool things lately. It's just been amazing. And we've got Jack, who I don't know if we're in the same order, actually, come to think of it. Jack, who is on our board, and Kara is obviously on our board. She's the vice president of the board. And we had a couple of other board members, but they've left. But if everyone wants to introduce themselves, we could definitely go about doing that more than me just doing it. David, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is David, and I write fiction, fantasy fiction. Been doing for a few years now. I got one book published already, and thanks to Carissa, she kind of made me do that.
I made you do that.
Well, I went to your class, and you basically inspired me to do it. How's that?
Excellent. Okay, I like that much better.
Okay.
Carissa made me do it. What?
Twist my arm. But anyways.
That's funny.
Yeah, so this Lawa is a good organization to be with, and it will teach you a lot. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, Sue, you take it away. What do you do now?
I feel like I don't do anything. I'm a good communicator. That's about it.
Sue.
Right.
Where have you been published, Sue?
I'm a regular in the Her Voice. I've had a couple of articles in a Christian magazine, and the letter to the editors in the local paper like me every once in a while. That's about it. I have a blog.
You're the Storyville project too, aren't you?
No.
No? Oh, you didn't. Okay.
No. I'm afraid I have one big drawback to being a fiction writer. I have absolutely no imagination. None. I can't imagine how you people pull something out of nowhere. I don't have
That's
that
why there are a
ability.
lot of fan fiction writers in this world. Yes. How about you, Jack? Do you want to tell everybody who you are and what you do again?
Yeah, I'm Jack Smith. I've been a student of the arts all my life, and across the boards, I've been interested in writing and painting, in all of the trades. And there's that saying about jack of all trades and master of none. I've become a master of many of them. And I've my main business is I've had a patent practice for 35 years. So I prepare patent and trademark applications, for inventors and product developers.
Oh,
And my clients are all over the world now, thanks to the internet.
Yes.
That my life certainly went in a different direction, once the internet arrived for us to be able to use. It's like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, they made the statement way back at the beginning of Apple, we're going to give power to the people. and they certainly did, because we're all here because of that. But I'm also a product developer and designer. I hold a multitude of patents, and I'm focused now on doing a substantial amount of oil painting and writing. And that's the way I spend both at least half of my hours these days.
what
I
do
love
you
that.
write?
Well, patent applications primarily, but I'm happy to say my first short story since I left college is in the Storyville project.
That's so fun.
Thanks to Kim, that was just the encouragement I needed to kind of kick me over the edge.
She's good at that. Now she's the one that'll twist arms. Are you kidding me, Kim?
Yeah, so I mean, that was such an enriching experience for me because, whenever you want to do something in your life, it's good to set a date. And the Storyville project set a date. You got to have a short story by this date.
Yep.
And so, I struggled like I was, in junior high trying to write a story because it was so foreign to me, to do that kind of writing.
Mhm.
Where my writing is analytical, it's technical. When you're writing for the patent offices, you have to follow rules of practices that are 200 years old. They're
my
arcane to the rest of the world. Most people can't even read patents, because you start to drool and your head hits the table pretty quick.
Oh,
and there's no dialoguing in patents. And it was like, oh my God, I have to come up with some dialogue here. Well, when Bob Peterson had to critique my story, I mean, he responded with much intrepidation. He was glad he wasn't in person for fear of my reaction. So I just followed his critique, and then you go at it again. And when I got my second draft done, I asked him, now who's going to review this? And she said, you're on your own already.
Nice.
It's like, oh no, I better not stop. I better do 3 or 4 drafts because I'm going to have to, just.
That's when you get your Grammarly or your autocrit going there, Jack.
That's when I think I said help to Carissa, and she told me about Grammarly and autocrit, and I found another one. What is
Pro Writing Aid?
Pro Writing Aid, yeah. And I put all those to work for me.
Yes.
That kind of pushed me over the hump, and it was like, okay, I can let go of this and I can send it in. And
Fantastic.
then I could look at it and say, not too bad, not too bad.
You always got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And obviously, Kara, we know what you write now for the most part, but what else do you do other than your food blog?
Yeah, I mean, that's just my stuff, but I'm a freelance writer. So, hey, Allison, I also do things at the Lake Country Journal. I feel like we work together, but not really.
Yeah.
And I have a host of clients that I write various blog posts, social media, random things.
Random.
It's mostly business, like Sue, like I'm not a fiction writer, but I do like to use my imagination to the nonfiction things that we do write about. So
absolutely. I think that's just as difficult sometimes, like when you were talking about how at the end of your blog post trying to figure out what additional things could you do, that's still using that creative muscle to figure out, what is that next person going to be thinking about.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh my gosh, my dogs. I have my dogs in the house. Can you hear them? Like my husband's must be building the chairs we just got. So they're like, what's going on? What? They're huskies, so they don't actually bark. Oh goodness. Yeah, they're silly and noisy when they want to be, whenever something new is going on.
Sue has company.
Yes, I saw that. What's the kitty's name?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, well, like I told you, I have no imagination. Her name is Kitty.
Kitty? Oh, I was like, Giddy? That's cool. Kitty,
No,
that is
Kitty.
adorable. Yes, that's so cute.
And she knows when the camera is pointed at her. See her ears down?
She's like,
she's beautiful.
Grumpy Cat, is that wasn't that the name? Grumpy Cat? Oh, funny. Yeah, we've always had like strange names for our animals because I like the ancient history. So it's like we've had Maya and now we've got Aztec and Pharaoh. And I've had Jedi in the past because, obviously. Gaia was a cat that I had. So we've always had like weird names for our animals. Gizmo, my daughter has a gecko upstairs named Gizmo. Oh goodness.
That's a good name.
Right?
When I was a kid, we had a cat named Sven.
Sven? Love it. We had one named Kissa when I was a little kid. It was a Siamese, or she was a Siamese named Kissa, and apparently it's cat in Finnish. Go figure. So my family wasn't all that far off. So
my dad used to call all animals Fritz. Come here, Fritz. Come here, Fritz.
Fritz. All right, then. That's different. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you do have any questions throughout the month, if you're running into any issues with your writing or questions on publishing or anything like that, you can always reach out via social media, via email. We're always around. And we do have a help desk that is in the process of being set up. So Kim, our membership director, who is not here right now, is in the process of getting the help desk put together. So that way it's like a Google form where people, if you actually have a help desk question, she gets the contact point for it and then sends it out to one of our members who has that specific knowledge and whatever. But in the meantime, until that actually gets up and running, you can always email us or just reach out through social media in any way. And we can always help with whatever.
Carissa, you might mention that there's 2 Lawa Facebook groups.
Well, there's only one Facebook group and then there's the page.
Can you explain the difference to the newbies?
Sure. Well, the Facebook page is just like our normal business page where if you're wanting to know about us as an organization, things that are coming up like the meeting today, you can always join in because we're a community organization, but we do have a membership. So there are membership benefits to joining Lawa and being a participant as a member. So when you become a member, there's also the membership group where everybody pretty much knows everybody else. And if you have a conversation you want to have, or if you want to do something that's membership only. So like the Storyville project, for instance, is a membership only project. So you have to be a member in order to be a participant in that. So if there's questions regarding it, or if there's questions that you just know one of us, you know, if you know, for instance, I know how to self-publish on Amazon, you can just say, hey, Carissa, what's this? What would you do? Blah, blah, blah. And you're in the group already. Super easy. I can just come over, answer it and leave. But then it benefits everybody in the group too. If they have that same question, they can see it and understand the answer, whatever. So there's a lot of different things that go on, but the group itself is for members who have joined for the year. So there's a yearly membership fee of $30. But it gives you a host of discounts. We're in the process of putting together a new membership brochure. So that'll be up and running very soon as well. So.
But I was under the impression there's a Facebook group open to the public called just Lakes Area Writers Alliance. And there's a second one called Lakes Area Writers Alliance Group.
Yep, those are two different things. One's a group. So the membership is the group. Right. The page where it's just Lakes Area Writers Alliance is a page, so that you can't interact in the same way, because it's just, I mean, you can comment on everything and you can do that, but a page is different from a Facebook group. A group is more of it's kind of like this. It's where there's a little bit more interaction. We can see each other. We know exactly who's in there, where on the page you can't see. Like if you're not an admin of the page, you wouldn't know, for instance, Kara is a member or is following the page unless you're friends with Kara, in which case it might tell you Kara also likes this page. So it's a little bit different, functions differently.
So if they have a question, do they put it on the page or on the group?
Well, if they're not a member, they can't put it in the group. So it would have to be on the page. So you can message through the page. There is a message function through the page. Or you can message even like as a comment. The only thing with comments on a page is it can get lost sometimes. Yeah. Because it doesn't show up on the timeline. So it goes into like a special holding just for comments on the page. It's a different location. I don't know why they do that. It's weird, but we do see it. So admins, so myself, I think Kara, Kim, we're all admins for sure on the page. So we're watching that sort of stuff and making sure that things are on there. Yeah. Oh, are you leaving, David?
Yeah, gotta go.
Okay.
Bye.
We'll catch you next
I
time.
gotta go too,
See you next
guys.
week.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a great week
guys.
then, and we will see you later.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was fun.
Yes.
Nice meeting you, new ones. Bye-bye.
Good job, Kara.
Thank you.
Great
Thanks.
job, Sarah.
Yes.
Bye.
Great job.
Bye.
Yeah, great job.
Bye.